Oh, you know what? Let's start it. Welcome to the Sofa Kingdom podcast with your host, Nelson.
And joining us today, returning.
Who is joining us?
Who's my brother?
I'm Shea.
You already messed it up.
I messed nothing. I speak precisely when I need to.
Listen, 30 seconds into the intro, he forgot his brother was
I forgot
here.
my brother.
He's like, and our special
Oh, that's right.
guest.
Oh, that's right. That's right. My brother's here. He's here.
You didn't even
Shea Ray. We can't even do the Scanlon voice. We can't do the Scanlon voice because Shea is not a fan.
No, so
Vox Machina.
oh my god,
What?
You're not privy to this conversation because you're not on Instagram.
No, he is not.
So
It's really
Jump into it. Tell us why we're wrong for loving Vox Machina.
new thing.
100% of Rotten Tomatoes, by
I'll
the
go
way.
with Vox Machina and then the other thing I want to do.
All right.
Is it good?
As close as you can. Let's not do what Ian does and keep turning away from the mic and talking so we hear him from the background.
My head
like
movement
this.
is good, Ed.
Yeah,
He's working on that
Bob
Bob
and
and
Weave. Bob and Weave.
Training for Steven Seagal.
So I endlessly, he's like, watch Vox Machina, watch it. I'm like, okay, I'll watch it. So I turn it on. I love high fantasy stuff, Dungeon Dragon shit. It's all great. It felt like the group Vox Machina was a bunch of 12-year-olds who just learned how to swear and couldn't stop trying to use the words. They were just being rude and bad for no reason.
That's what makes it so good.
But they're trying so hard to be edgy. The first two episodes were terrible. I thought they were not. I didn't laugh once.
Terrible.
You didn't laugh at the scene with the gnome having sex?
No,
Singing?
no. It was
are you, a
terrible.
robot?
It was terrible. It's a 12-year-old could write all their jokes, but
Oh my god.
they chastised me, and I pushed through it, and I watched 3, 4, 5, and 6 or whatever.
Okay.
About halfway through the series, it's starting to get. It's better now. Yeah, but first, it was so juvenile and so ridiculous. The first two episodes, I'm like.
Is it Lonely on Your Mountain? Is it Lonely on Your Mountain,
Because
sir?
he pitched me Arcane on Netflix, and that show, the League of Legends show, that show is amazing.
No, it was very good.
And then
Arcane.
I'm like, oh, Vox Machina, it's probably the same quality. And I just,
They're night and day as far as shows.
but I even like Critical Role's. Like I've listened to some of their games, their quests they play through and stuff. Like I knew of them before this show. I was excited about the show before you ever mentioned it. Didn't like it, starting to like it. Anyway.
By the end of the series, it does transform from a little bit lighthearted and playful, which I think their intent was to deliver the characters that way, and then just take it off into a what the fuck seriousness towards the end of the show.
I almost disowned him. I was pissed.
Yeah.
What the fuck are we doing here?
Well, it's like exactly what happened with WandaVision, right? A lot of people go into WandaVision
Fair.
expecting something, not getting it, and then the show over time opens up and people are like, okay, this is
especially
pretty
coming
dope.
off the other Marvel properties
Oh, yeah.
going into one. So I could see going into it thinking of Arcane, and then you're walking into Vox Machina like, this is not what I
Arcane.
sat down to watch.
I don't know. I
No, you're entitled to your opinion.
It's good now. It's
As
starting
long
to
as
get
it
good.
is, it's all
But,
right.
Yeah, I mean, we're right 3-1. Majority
it seems like it's a
rules.
lot more than 3. There are a lot of people like that show. But,
You know what it is about shows like that I love is that it's kind of stupid and funny, and you don't have to think about everything.
Not at all.
Like every now and again, I like really good, thoughtful shows, but every now and again, I like to just turn something on, laugh at stupid shit, and watch some action.
Absolutely.
So that's what I loved it for.
Yeah.
You know,
there you
It
go.
was simple, funny, and it just added a bunch of fantasy elements into it. It made it interesting.
so what was the other thing you wanted to talk about
So-
besides trashing a beloved show, Vox Machina?
Recently, I don't know if it was this week, but recently, Saga. It's a comic by Image Comics, written by Brian Vaughan, I think. It's been on hiatus for years now, and they announced that they're going to come off hiatus and finish it. And it's like an intergalactic space war between two races, and they hate each other, and two soldiers fall in love, have a kid. It's a mix of their races, and everyone in the galaxy is trying to kill their child.
Think intergalactic, interracial Romeo and Juliet.
So a Bronx Tale.
Yeah, it's a
Bronx Tale in space.
Yeah, a Bronx Tale in space. I'm in.
Yeah,
I'm sold.
it's a dope comic. My buddy pirated tons of it earlier, and I had read it all, and then at the moment I found out they were starting it back up, coming off hiatus, went on Amazon, bought all 9 volumes.
Nice.
So
Nice.
Saga, check it out, it's good.
I like a good, well-told story.
Yeah.
And
Firefly.
damn it, you stole it.
Have you seen Firefly?
I have not.
Oh my god!
But I will watch it before
If
Ian
you
does.
like Cowboy
guarantee
Bebop,
fucking
if
to
you
you,
like
he will.
Cowboy Bebop and the premise of the show, it's really
I love that Netflix show.
alive.
Oh yeah, the live action on Netflix.
We don't,
When's-
talk,
hey,
we
when's-
don't talk about that here. That's like Lord Voldemort.
the greatest
Where's,
anime adaptation ever.
Yeah.
When's season 2 coming out again? Right?
Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah.
Real soon.
It might be on a bit of a hiatus.
According to
Okay.
Netflix, most people didn't make it past the 3rd episode.
I didn't make it to.
They were like, "This is trash." I didn't make it past the opening sequence, and I was done.
I didn't even get a chance to start it before I found out it was canceled,
Canceled,
so I
yeah.
just never started it.
Why exactly?
Yeah, it's
There's
like if
too
it's
many
Hey, you
good
want to
shows.
drive down this road that's
Like-
6 miles with no way out?
if by the end of
Nah.
a week they're canceling the show, I'm like, well, I guess I don't need to watch this.
Yeah.
Right.
I honestly thought the banter on the show between Jet and Spike was actually pretty decent. Like it was humorous, it was funny. But those two interactions, like those two characters, can't save the entire
Can't run
show.
the whole show.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I sincerely felt bad for the actor that played Jet because he nailed the voice, he
Yeah.
nailed the mannerisms. He was the guy that was the bad dude in Luke Cage, Bushmaster.
Yeah.
Bushmaster.
Fantastic actor, and
Bushmaster.
I felt so bad for him.
If I wasn't here, you guys never would. Oh, who'd he play? And I'm sitting at home like, it's the Bushmaster, damn it!
It's just so much.
Listen, man, is there one thing I know is a Bushmaster when I see one.
Yeah.
Like how good everybody was at Mass Effect. They had Rex in the 3rd game.
Yes,
He's not playable at all. Anyway,
it is true. It is true.
Listen, Shay, we can go. Listen,
Okay, is that correction number one, Shay?
we can dig up-
Shay has a whole list of corrections he's going to deliver to us that we'll share with everyone. He said something like 60 or 70, mainly Eddie fucking up. He said, Nelson, you're
Thanks.
right all the
Sure.
time.
that's
yeah.
quite
You're never
actually.
wrong.
Eddie's like our intel.
Eddie's probably the guy who gets it right in the majority.
yeah.
If I was
of the
gonna go
time.
with accuracy, he'd probably be.
Eddie also probably saved me 100 times. He's the guy that
Ray
edits out
Allen
all the
over here
shit I cannot say. Like,
Yeah,
after
yeah.
reviewing, it's like, Ian, we cannot post
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
Like, this needs to be cut.
All of our episodes are 10 minutes shorter due to Eddie editing out Ian shit.
All the shit I say. I'm sorry. I say things.
Well, all right. If we're gonna jump into shows, right? I'll jump into Valhalla. Loving it. I mean, fantastic show from start to finish. I like the new characters. Ian was right on this one. I didn't feel like they were trying to force feed you the old story. They really moved the story along with new characters. It was a really dope storyline. Completely engaged. I like the whole Christian Vikings fighting the regular Vikings. Like,
Yeah.
they always find another reason to be like, we need to fight with each other.
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck, guys?
It was more diverse in the first season. Like the first show, it was like it's 100 years ago, and it's like, okay, well, most of the Vikings are pagan, so all Christians bad.
Yeah.
Well, this is 100 years afterwards. They've been raiding England.
Yep.
People have been intermingling, bringing shit back. So now it's like, okay, now there's it's a vast majority of Vikings are Christian at this point. Like the pagan ways are starting to
Fade out.
disappear.
Yeah.
So like
New gods, old gods thing.
my
Yeah.
favorite character in the whole show is actually a Christian Viking. Harold Sigurdsson. I love him.
Really?
I love Harold Sigurdsson.
Yeah, he's a good character.
I think Canut's
I like
Christian
Leaf.
too.
I like Leaf.
Yeah.
Canute. Yeah,
I
he's
think,
dope.
I think he
The
might
king.
be. I don't know if he's Christian. I think he might be Christian.
He is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Canute.
Yeah.
I like
His dad's
I like
not.
King Canute. Forkbeard is
King
fucking
Swain
dope.
Forkbeard is.
I'm not watching
not.
this.
I haven't
I've
started.
never
it
even
either.
watched the original.
Listen,
That dude's
you
gangster.
haven't
have I?
watched
All
the
right,
original
all right.
one yet?
No.
Oh, it's
wow.
fantastic. It really is a very, very good show.
You technically could start Valhalla without watching the first one, but if
Yeah.
you watch the first one, it's 5
I think
seasons.
I'm
Yeah.
probably gonna watch Firefly first.
Listen, I would. I would.
You would understand.
I mean,
more.
Add
but-
insult to injury to Ian, who hasn't watched it in going on like a second year
Firefly
now.
is
I will never
amazing,
see
and
that.
it's only the one season. It's the one season and a movie. If you want to go any further than that, you have some comics and some books.
Gotcha.
But TV and everything wise, it's one season in the movie.
It doesn't always
Next
amaze
time I'm
me.
down, we'll do a whole Firefly episode.
Hell yeah. And we'll leave Ian out of it. Or
Oh,
you
no,
can sit
no,
there
I
and
wanna
just
be
say
here.
nothing.
I want to be here for it. I still will not watch it.
I'm
no.
like, and Ian, what's your take on that?
I will say things like, I'm amazed at how much of a contribution it has made to sci-fi considering it's only one season. I will say things like that. But I will.
Amazing.
I won't have any
Amazing.
idea
I'm
what
with
the
it.
fuck we're talking about.
I'm with it. I'm with it.
So are we going to talk about Batman now?
Absolutely.
Let's
Talk
do
about
it.
that.
The
Let's jump into
Batman,
Batman.
the Batman.
Yes.
I thought
We-
that was his thing.
It's our show. Me and Ed are sharing.
what? Stepping on each other's toes?
Never.
Never.
No.
I
On
always
the
like to ask
Sofa
Eddie
Kingdom
what he wants to
podcast.
talk about and then steal that shit from
You're,
him.
you're very verbose and loud
Yes.
during it.
Verbose.
I like it.
People that don't like Vox Machina say words like Fucking the hell.
Yes, Batman. We all saw it just the other day, so this is nice and fresh in everybody's mind.
We saw it nice and early in the afternoon. Yes.
And they were
No, we
saying
didn't.
very much that it was much more in the terms of it was Detective Batman. It was Batman doing what he was famous for, being a great detective.
The world's greatest detective.
Yes.
That is
And
what
they delivered, I thought, on a more realistic approach to a Batman character.
Yes.
He even made mistakes in the movies. And
Oh yeah.
like
got
face
hurt.
tanking a shotgun.
Yes.
Yeah.
and got hurt. And I think a lot of that whole like walking through bullets, as ridiculous as it could be, it was like he said it a couple times. Like he just wasn't afraid to die.
Yeah.
And he was just so angry that sometimes it blurred the vision between doing the smart thing and just fucking people up.
Are we going to go completely into spoiler territory, or are we just going to dance around talking about the movie?
We should just dance around.
Dance around it.
Yeah,
For this,
okay.
for this
Okay.
one.
So you don't have to shut it off. Like we're not gonna spoil it for you. But I liked emo goth kid like
Yeah.
angry Robert Pattinson Batman.
Yeah.
I liked him. He did a good job. I
And,
thought,
and
as
it's
Bruce
nice
Wayne.
that they didn't. I assume it's already out there now that they don't go through the killing his parents in front of him again. Like how many times can we see a kid crying on this with the
I
pearl
was
necklace
waiting
breaking?
for the pearls to drop.
Oh, yeah.
I was waiting
was-
for the pearls to drop.
It was so nice, and I'm like, Martha again. You know what I mean?
yeah.
We skip past that.
yes.
Batman, he's still fairly fresh, but he's established in the city.
But
Yes.
I really, the unsung hero for me is the Riddler, man.
Oh yeah,
He delivered
Very-
an acting like I don't know what the word I'm looking for, but he played the psycho fucking fantastic.
Yes.
I really liked the way he depicted
Think
the
Kevin
character.
Spacey in Seven.
Yeah.
But that's-
Literally think
that's
the guy.
how-
Oh my god.
That's how the Batman movies have always been. I feel like it's never like the actor playing Batman's never amazing. They're never the best actor in the movie.
yeah.
Right.
Like Christian Bale wasn't the best in his movies.
I have to agree with you.
It was always
Yeah.
the villains.
He's
So
the centerpiece holding the villains
the
together.
villains carry it. I thought all of them. I thought what everybody knows who's
The Penguin.
Yeah.
yeah. They know
Yeah.
that he was
yeah.
in there.
So
You mean Colin Farrell?
yeah. So
Yeah.
God, if I wasn't here, he'd have fucking been dead. I didn't remember that for 45 minutes.
I don't know what villains.
Correction number 1 for Shea.
Fox
Colin
Mackin is for
Farrell. I'll write this on
children.
my calendar.
Who can enjoy such a childish show?
The Riddler, the Penguin, Catwoman.
Yeah.
Why am I
Catwoman.
blanking out?
Yeah, I think
the
the only
over here.
I think the only person they don't
His
They had
vitals.
Falcone.
the only person they don't mention in like any of the trailers or anything like that is from the end scene that's talking to Riddler.
yeah, gotcha.
That's the only thing that bit that they kept.
Which you'll
and
have to stick through the credits.
and
to
there
see.
there were some other things surrounding that were cut, unfortunately.
Yes.
But they said they'll release the scene sometime later on
Yeah,
down. It was just
And I think
the
it's-
movie was 3 hours. How
I
much
think-
can they stuff in there?
I think it was a dope approach.
it was rough at
Yeah.
some
They
point.
keep stuffing.
You
Yeah.
know what? I liked it. I didn't mind the dialogue. I didn't mind that it took a little longer.
Yeah.
Because
Well,
it
Nelson wanted to see it really late, so we ended up seeing it pretty late night.
but I do recommend waiting to the very end and watching that cutscene. It delivers something like you have never
Oh, that
seen
that
before.
final scene,
The one
best
after the credits?
final
Yes.
credit
Oh my
scene
God.
ever.
Please stick
Listen,
around for it.
really good.
We will put our name on it. The Sofa Kingdom podcast will represent this. You wait through all the credits, and the scene, it blows up. What? Probably every superhero.
Oh, yeah.
movie?
It's going to
Yeah.
bring some
the-
tears to your eyes.
It'll make you feel things you never thought. Not with a
Yes.
woman or a man. You've never felt something
Yes.
like
You
this.
could combine Spider-Man and Superman. It's
Yes.
that
It's
good.
that good. That good. That good. Yes. Like if you have a child, it's the birth of your first child. Stick around.
It will become second to that end credit,
that end credit
post-credit scene. Yes, yes.
Trust us.
No,
Don't-
you
don't-
know what they did with the character Batman and the villains. I really liked. They depicted it from more realism, but
Yeah.
they're also building a roster. They're saying on the back
Yes.
end of the villains to lead up to very specific villains for a third movie if they go that route.
I mean,
so
there
I
was-
like that they didn't start off with like here's the top tier anticlimactic villain
Yeah.
to fight Batman that everybody wants to see. No, start it up.
Yeah, we've seen Joker a bunch of times. Like,
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I mean, but even when you look at it, a lot of the movie was, it was almost the origin of supervillains. Because it was the falling of the crime families. We all know what that is because we have Penguin stepping in, we have Riddler stepping in.
Right.
So anyone that's paying any attention should be pretty aware of that. But that's really what, like, they instead of telling the hero's origin for the 50 millionth time, it's almost the city's origin of turning and things kind of really getting squirrely.
Yeah.
the city was a really fleshed out piece of the story.
Yeah.
I like the dark, gritty. I like that they went back to that. It felt like the TV series Gotham,
Yeah.
where it was like that underground vibe.
Yeah.
It was like the worst parts of Manhattan and then double that.
Well, you can do that with Batman. Like, that's why I was excited to see them go in such a dark direction, because Batman is a dark hero.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you can do that. You couldn't do that with Spider-Man. You can have Spider-Man like creeping around at night, like breathing. And, you know,
I mean,
like,
everyone-
You're like, what the fuck, Pete? Like, what are you doing? Like, get off the ceiling, you fucking sick fuck. What's
If you
wrong?
go
Just
through
up in the corner,
Yeah.
just staring
Batman's
down.
comics, everyone has some
webs on
kind of a
everybody.
mental disorder.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody, including Batman. Everybody's
Have
got some
mental
fucking
disorders.
problems.
Right. They're just
He's
dysfunctional people.
There is no one healthy in any. If you read long
Bane's-
enough,
Bane's
read
addicted to
long enough any
steroids.
Batman comic, nobody has a mental health
No, nobody's clean. Nobody's
that's clean.
I like that they brought Schmeagol in there. I thought that was cool. too.
Schmeagol as Alfred was amazing.
Yeah.
Yes.
He was good. He was good.
It was nice to see him in a role where he's not a complete creepo. Like, I was
good.
like, all right, you know.
I don't want to spoil anything, but I like how they alluded to the fact that you said he has been Batman for a while.
Yes.
The one point when he pulls out that gadget and uses it, and we all knew what it was. I don't want to
Yes.
say
Yeah.
anything to
Yeah.
spoil it,
And-
but you're like, oh,
Yes.
so he's already fought-
dealt with these
He's already
villains
dealt with
before.
that
Well,
person.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know. I don't know if it's hinting that he's already fought him or that's the precursor, because
he's
it's-
developed it, and somebody gets a hold of it.
it's hard. It's hard to say it without
Yeah,
spoiling
I
it,
gotcha.
Right.
because I think in some of the comics, that's the order it goes in,
Gotcha.
where it becomes a problem for him,
That he
so he
created.
gets rid of it, and then it becomes an issue later on down the line.
Gotcha.
Angry Kid Bruce Wayne was good. It was like
Yeah.
you've seen him actually struggle with certain things, and like even when Alfred's like, "You've been not fighting crime all night. You should probably go to bed." And he's just
Yeah.
like, "You're not my dad." And it's like, he's got like black eyeliner on. You're like, "Holy shit!"
Yeah,
Like,
he really did love that black eyeliner.
yeah. Like you were worried about his health at one point. You're like, "Dude, you probably should take a fucking nap." Like, and
Then
then
when
he's
he
like,
started sucking blood and sparkling. It was
"Yeah, that's when it got weird."
probably the best part of the whole movie.
And then he
Oh,
pulled
yeah.
out some of those spells from year 3 at Hogwarts.
Started
Yeah,
running
like,
real
what's going
fast
on?
and all that. Yeah, like this is a little
What's going
strange.
on here? Yeah, this doesn't make any
I
sense.
didn't remember werewolves fighting
I don't remember that either.
Batman at any
weird
point in
flex.
time.
Weird
it
flex,
was-
but
yeah,
okay.
It was kind of weird, yeah. Team Eddie.
I'm on Team Eddie. I'm on Team Eddie. So we're gonna get into the meat and potatoes. Are we
All
doing
right,
this?
so we're here for one particular reason.
we're gonna have a debate, an educational discussion.
Xbox versus PlayStation and why Xbox is better. So
Hey, that's up for debate.
we'll be fair and completely
in my
unbiased.
That's right.
We're just gonna go down the facts and trash PlayStation along the way.
And we're
So,
gonna leave Nintendo out of this.
yes, we'll leave Nintendo out of this because they are their own thing altogether. But we
The
will.
Switch the last couple of years has been fantastic.
It has been.
They've been
they've-
killing
it. Has been.
especially with their online store and all the indie games and all that stuff. It's been, if you have a second console, it needs to be Nintendo.
Yeah, whether you're an Xbox or a PlayStation guy, your backup system that you play should always be a Switch.
I enjoy the fact that we say we're gonna not talk about something and then immediately
Absolutely.
talk about it.
Now, the only thing that's happening bad for Nintendo now, though, is the Steam
Oh,
Deck is finally in
really?
people's hands.
Oh, yeah.
And now you have PC games in your book bag wherever the hell you
I got
go.
a Steam
And
Deck.
How much is a Steam Deck? Because there's a lot of things on Steam. that
You can get the cheap one for like $400.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
are the cheap one.
Yeah. So I mean, it's $50 more than your Nintendo Switch, and now you have proper PC games, and you can't plug it up to a screen and blow it up.
That's what a
Full
Nintendo
size.
Switch goes for. So they're up
Nintendo
there.
Switch is like $350 for the OLED, I believe.
Yeah, the new one.
Yeah, I think it's $300 for the old one, $350 for the OLED, $200 for the non-one that plugs to the TV,
That
the
controller
little tiny
sounds
guy.
like
Lights
the
only
controller. It's
portable.
like
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
also a handheld, and it, like
Yeah.
you snap the controllers off and you pan them around. I mean, it's
One
pretty
thing about
wild.
them is that they are very innovative at Nintendo.
Yes.
Yeah.
They always have been.
But
though.
they need to do something about that thumb thing on that controller, because I was playing a shit ton of Mario Kart the one day, and I almost had to get like my thumb amputated. I was like, oh man, I was like, that looks infected. What's going on? Like, I
I
rubbed
believe
that
they
shit
sell
raw.
like third-party pieces that you could put on
you,
there.
you need some kind of medical.
there's
attachment.
third-party grips for the whole console and little bits and pieces of things like that. But that's things that you shouldn't have to buy. Like come on now, ergonomics is a thing in gaming
Their
now.
Joy-Cons were not great. I have the custom ones.
I mean, look at the evolution of the console controllers at this point. They're night and day compared to what the square that the NES used to be. But Nintendo is still giving you controllers that are going to give you carpal tunnel syndrome.
Yeah. But speaking of controllers, it's funny that the PlayStation controller's battery life is 20% smaller than the Xbox controller. Oh man! Well, PlayStation,
that's because
do something about that. It's vibrating.
That's because the
because of all
PlayStation.
the
That's because
haptic feedback.
it's also because the PlayStation controller is also 50% more durable than the Xbox.
And it needs to be because when you have no games, you're usually throwing your controller at the screen or the TV. You're like, why don't I have games?
Name.
You did this. You did this, Nelson.
You opened it.
I did. No response.
And let's just look at each other.
This
No,
is
Eddie's
my,
in this.
This is my
Don't
opening
you
argument.
bail on me. Don't you bail on me.
This is my opening argument.
Let me open up my notes. Shit, I was busy getting a tattoo today. I got no notes. I got no notes.
Go ahead, Shay. Go ahead.
Name me an Xbox exclusive
Halo.
Gears of War.
on PC.
Well, see, here's the thing.
Wait. To consoles, right?
Nope.
We're talking about Xbox exclusive to consoles. PC ain't shit.
Give me an Xbox exclusive. That's just for Xbox.
I don't know if PC's not
Exclusive.
And Xbox Tetris.
Well, see, here's the rub. Xbox no longer looks at PlayStation as its competition. They're looking at Netflix. They're looking at Google. They're looking at big, massive platforms. So they're pushing to have their games anywhere that there's a screen. So that is a thing. They are going away
it's a
from
deliberate-
just.
But the question,
So
the
you're
question
saying
stands.
we can have Elden
So
Scrolls?
there's no exclusives for Xbox.
As of yet, but there's still
I have a list.
so many.
I have a list.
Yeah. so there's still so many on the way because of all of the companies that they bought out. And I know that they're just dumping money into a lot of these companies, but they feel
Sounds like my girlfriend. She's
they
on the
bought
way.
Blizzard. It would be amazing if they brought back World of Warcraft the way that everybody wanted to be brought back.
agree with
But
I
then-
think they're gonna let Blizzard rest for a while. Like let's
no,
let
I mean,
Well,
they'll
they
probably change the name.
Well,
of Blizzard.
they already are. Like
Bringing Lost Vikings
even like
Yeah,
Call of
yeah.
Duty, they're putting a bit of a pause on the yearly Call of Duties even
is
now
smart.
already.
That's
But
a
they
game
did
that
it-
I'd be
they did
happy if they
announce.
just released like an expansion pack like every year. or
Sure,
something.
right. You don't really
Call of
need
Duty,
to-
you don't need to fucking do one.
They did
every
announce
year.
that
Like,
Call of Duty is not going to be exclusive.
Correct.
Yeah,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
is
yeah.
awesome.
Call of Duty
That's
is
a big.
That's a big.
But
it's too big of a game.
Yes.
No, but here's the thing.
So is Elder Scrolls.
I think
Call of Duty was the #1 and #2 selling game last year.
yeah.
Two different
The
versions.
question is, how
help us.
many are they contracted out to be on multiple consoles already because they were doing them yearly? And two, they're saying Call of Duty won't be, but they're not saying which Call of Duty. It may just be their Warzone, like they did with Minecraft.
gotcha.
It was already everywhere. It's only a free game to begin with, but
Right, because they own
microtransactions.
different studios.
So it may be that they're big games like that, the Warzone version of it, they keep everywhere, and then they may pull the actual yearly title. They may even strip. This is something that's been in the background. Is they may strip the single player campaign, and that would become the Call of Duty that's every year, and then Warzone's the only online component because microtransactions fucking
Right.
make money.
But
Yes,
what
they
Eddie's
do.
trying to say is the bigger point is not so much as the exclusivity of the games, which they are going to bring a lot more of that, is that they're looking at it as this is a multi-platform service.
Yes.
So Xbox basically is becoming larger than PlayStation.
So you're not wrong. You're not wrong. If you
They're
ask,
trying.
if
No,
you ask
you're
for
right. I
it,
am
They're trying.
right. Thank
They're
you,
trying.
sir.
hang on.
I
If
appreciate
you
it.
ask for an
They're trying.
Xbox exclusive game, it's pretty hard to say because now it's really more a Microsoft game because even games that are on
The
PlayStation
argument is Xbox versus
are
PlayStation.
are now on PlayStation. I mean, one of your best games on PlayStation right now with Returnal,
yes.
Deathloop, like those. Some of them games are now owned by Microsoft.
But they're exclusive to PS5.
Yes,
Yeah,
but here's the
they'll
thing.
lease it. They'll lease it like
A lot of those-
Spider-Man is being leased
A lot
to
of those games
PlayStation
were
or
timed
Sony.
exclusive, and they just eventually never came out to the other consoles.
You're giving me exclusives. You're arguing for me.
no.
They're on my list. Though. They're both on my
No,
list.
it's all right because
Well, Deathloop's on
He
PC.
wants to go on. He wrote it down. Give us
No.
your PlayStation list of exclusives. Go for it.
Who's your favorite superhero?
My favorite superhero? Which Marvel, DC?
Marvel. Let's go Marvel.
Okay, Marvel. I'd have to say Captain America.
Okay.
Yeah,
I was hoping.
I got the shield. You know what I mean? Like that's my boy.
Well, if you're a Wolverine fan,
Yes.
He's the Wolverine fan.
No, I know where
sure.
you're going with this one. And this one, I admit, this one does suck.
Marvel's
This one does
Wolverine
suck.
by Insomniac Games
Yes.
is PS5 exclusive.
Because Insomniac does make some fantastic
Yes,
games.
Spider-Man.
They are,
Spider-Man was a fantastic game.
and
it's a PlayStation exclusive.
No, I know.
It's not on
I know.
PC.
It's not on PC.
and I've mentioned it
So
before
12 people will
because
play it.
the Uncharted games are really the games that I end up getting a PlayStation for. There's a handful
The
of
Last
games
of Us, Uncharted,
that are
Horizon, Spider-Man, Wolverine.
Spit it out.
There's about
God of War Ragnarok.
about 5 or 6 Japanese like RPG focused companies, like Nihon Falcon, the one I tried to pitch, Atlas.
What about Cream of Some Young Guy?
Yeah. Vanillaware, Persona, Gaia, Final Fantasy VII Remake. There's more on the list. It doesn't
So
end.
Fishing Simulator 7.
Doesn't end.
Oh, God.
Ghost of Tsushima, which is not out for
They'll never
PC
make.
yet.
They'll never make another Final Fantasy 15. That was the best
Listen,
fishing
I-
simulator ever.
I know that games are down the pipeline for PlayStation. Currently, Xbox is just destroying them. But I see the larger
But they're not.
picture. Listen, just because it's a fact doesn't mean it's true.
I don't know if they're destroying them. I mean, they have Xbox Live, which they have the library with all the older games on it.
Yes. So
but
I was gonna say their back catalog.
that doesn't like target like gamers that are trying to play newer games. That's more like, okay, this is what was in the past. And if you're trying to go the nostalgia
But the
route,
thing that's really, I think the thing that's really hurting
play a Switch.
PlayStation right now is actually the Game Pass on Xbox.
Yes.
Because a lot of games that are exclusive to Microsoft are coming day one immediately. there.
Microsoft
With the
exclusives
console.
now.
Yes,
Yes.
because
The term has
because
changed. The term
Microsoft.
has changed to
Yeah,
Xbox.
and you have to
essentially
because it is accurate because
And don't forget their smart delivery system.
yes
With the games. So it doesn't matter which console you have, it upgrades itself for the console you're playing on.
Yes.
So if you played it on the 360 and you switch over to the Xbox Series X, it's now compatible. PlayStation does not do that.
Does not. It's a hassle.
Correct. It is a hassle for them to make it easy for you to use.
and then they try to charge you the extra $10 to for the difference of the 4 to the 5 for the PlayStation, which was such a
dick move.
yeah,
Yes.
it was a real cheapskate.
It
Like
was
you guys
weird.
are really doing that after you it was a very weird, but that's one of the things that's always been a weird rub with Sony.
Yeah.
Is
Nickel and
and that's just
But that's
it's
the gaming industry, I could say,
but
as
it's
a
not.
whole.
Yeah, that's a cultural thing.
Yeah.
Out of Japan, I think more than a gaming industry thing.
Nickel and Diamond, you guys is the company that Xbox just bought. It does fucking Candy Crush. Nickel and Diamond.
The king of nickel and diming.
No, wait, listen. I
So
did
to
say
speak.
I mean, are we gonna go back real far to when like Bill Gates, nickel and dime, Steve Jobs? Like, are we like this is Microsoft now?
Internet
go
Explorer bundled
go
with
back
every PC.
Yeah, exactly.
to King of New York, where if a nickel bag is sold in the park,
I want in.
I want in.
I want in. All right, exactly. So what are we doing here?
Well, that is literally what Microsoft is doing right now.
Yeah. Look, I think they're all doing it. They're so mad that the gamers burned them when they said, "Hey guys, we're gonna start charging $80 per game," and we're like, "The fuck you are!" And now we're paying like $120
to
per
get
game.
all the content.
Yeah. You know, look,
eating
there's
shit.
always gonna be
Well,
a way.
Sony originally spun off of Nintendo way back in the day. Sony and Nintendo were kind of together, and then a deal went bad.
Yeah, the original PlayStation was plausibly to be the next Nintendo, and then it
Yeah.
ended up not.
It ended up not being it. Nope.
So
Right.
even they knew that it was such a shitty idea to leave it behind and let them go off on their own. No, thank you for
Well,
that
no.
valid argument.
But then
PlayStation
Sony,
said.
yeah, but
I mean-
you're right. And then shortly afterwards,
No, thank you.
shortly
You can just stop it. I'm right.
Shortly afterwards, Sony sat on the throne as the most successful
Yeah.
gaming platform in the entire world, and they
Right.
still are. If you look at the numbers, they still
Yeah.
are.
I mean, that's only because Nintendo really shot themselves in the foot with the Wii U.
Yeah.
Let's be
Yeah.
honest, that
Terrible
Wii U
system.
was a real shit show.
It was a piece of shit.
Yeah, it was.
It was a piece of shit.
They can't all be winners.
I thought we were leaving Nintendo out of this.
Yeah, we are. Eddie, stop bringing him back.
No,
now.
I actually brought him up. I'm sorry.
When do
I
we
like
follow
Nintendo.
our own
Never.
format?
I like Nintendo.
I feel like this is a 2-on-1 fight, by the way. Ian's like chiming in with Nintendo.
He was he played a Switch for the first time yesterday. He's in love. all
He's
of a
got the
sudden.
wrong shirt on.
I'm a big
Should say
fan.
Nintendo
He's
across
like,
it.
this is a Mario.
I'm just really impressed with Nintendo.
Okay,
I am really
well, let's
impressed
talk
with
about
Nintendo.
another feature that Xbox has that PlayStation doesn't have, which is quick resume.
Oh,
So here's the thing that you could do with multiple players with multiple profiles on the Xbox is turn on your console, input your profile, and play whatever game you were playing and start off exactly where you left.
it actually goes
off.
deeper than that. You
I think
have
the PS5 can do that.
They cannot.
no the PS5. But here's where it's different with the Xbox. You have you can assign your controller. When I turn on my controller, it opens my dashboard, and then it can go immediately to any of the games I've been recently playing within, under 10 seconds.
Gotcha.
I mean, you can literally swap. And then I can turn it off. My daughter turns on her controller. It immediately goes to her dashboard without having to check the login, and she can jump onto her games just that quickly as well.
Someone can turn on your controller and fuck your whole life up.
If you don't want to put a password on it, but that's like any gaming console.
Do you guys have God of War? No, I'm just kidding.
Look,
Well, they're running
this
out of
argument.
storyline because they had to bring the God of War son into the fucking story. What's next? His daughter and then his grandmother? Get the fuck out of here.
What's wrong with bringing a daughter into the story?
What's wrong? What do you ever got strong female leads? No.
Sexist.
I loved Xena, okay?
No wonder you don't like. It's because Horizon Zero Dawn is a female hero. He hates Sony because they made a redheaded female the lead.
I tell you what, that game does look pretty dope.
It does.
It doesn't look as good as Breath of the Wild on the Switch.
Yo, Ian, you want to do me a favor? Can you sit on that chair?
I'm sorry.
Help me out, man.
It's like I'm drowning, bro.
Yeah, the quick resume really it makes other consoles because it's not just the speed of the drive; it's just how fast you jump into any of the games you've been recently playing.
Preach.
It makes any other console when you get on it and you go to just pick a game and you're sitting and waiting, or you exit, you have to close it out, then pick the. It's so it really actually almost makes you prefer downloading the game.
I agree.
Instead of having to have
a
it
ton
disc.
of weight on the PS5.
No, but I mean, when I tell you,
I get it's not instant. Is a
yeah,
pretty
it's
cool
like
word.
it really is. Like you can completely switch your game, jump in, play for 10 minutes, jump back to the other one, and it's less than it's like a loading screen. It's like 10 seconds, whole different game is
When
on,
it comes
and
to
you're
the
playing.
other things like frame rates, they're pretty comparable.
Yeah,
Another thing that the Xbox has over the PlayStation is the amount of memory it starts with.
Yep.
It starts with a terabyte worth of data
and games are getting big.
with 800
Fucking
and
Call of Duty.
825 something like
Yeah.
that. It's
And-
a terabyte on it, but all the system shit
Correct.
takes up part
Yes.
of it.
And PlayStation starts with like around 600 and something. So
Yeah,
you
because
need
their
to-
drive is only like a 7. It's a weird number.
It is.
Their drive is a weird. It's like a 760 or
Yeah.
8. It's something
I
weird.
thought it was supposed to be
The PlayStation, it actually starts off at less than a terabyte,
yeah. It
does.
and then the system goes on it. So you end up
Gotcha,
with
yeah.
like 600 gigs or something like that.
But not only that, it's much harder to implement using an external hard drive on the PlayStation, which looks like a tampon, and the Xbox has.
It's so easy to put an internal on the PlayStation, though. Have you watched the
It-
video for the internal hard drive thing?
It is. Yeah,
It's
you
like-
have
it's
to
a-
open the tampon.
it's a flip.
Put it in.
You pull the string.
It is, but here's the problem.
It's super absorbent though.
For someone technical like me, I love that idea. Here's the problem. Your random soccer mom has to install the memory for their 10-year-old. Is she going to buy the right drive?
No.
Is she going to know that it needs a heat sink?
No.
Is she going to get the proper speed? Is
No.
she going to be able to open it up, take the
no,
cover?
no.
Yeah, YouTube increased my PlayStation storage. Just fucking videos showing you exactly
Because
how to do it.
YouTube is a good source of information. Just pointing to my brother over there with super facts all the time.
Listen, Steven Seagal was on the front lines fighting with the Russian army at the tender age
That
of 70.
fucking traitor.
Listen, when I seen that, I'd laugh so hard. I'm like, he's 70. I got to put this out there like it's facts because it's fucking funny.
That's
It was
is.
too funny.
People message me on the side, and I'm like, bro, it's fucking funny. Like, get over yourself. Like,
It's like,
there
do you-
are no facts on the Sofa Kingdom website.
Yeah. All
You come here
feelings,
to
no
laugh.
facts.
You don't come here with the truth.
Yeah.
So, I was wondering if you guys think they're going to keep all the games exclusive they're saying they are.
I don't think it's in their best interest to. Because
yeah.
as they own these things, it probably is in their best interest to do what they're doing. They're thinking like, how can we be as widespread as possible and put our stuff everywhere? Because at the end of the day, their Xbox is a small part of the Microsoft big picture.
I think this is what they're going to do. Everything that they're already contractually obligated to put on other platforms, they absolutely will. But once they're out of those contracts, just like everything else they've been doing, like the new games like Starfield, it wasn't under contract to be on a particular thing. They're yanking it just for themselves.
Yep.
So that's why I said with
That
the
game
Call of
looks good.
Duties, they did Call of Duty every year. So they could have had a contract for the next 5.
Yeah.
So it could have be already written that the next how many are going to be on PlayStation also. They'll be on this also, that. So I can see them having those things. Absolutely. There's no reason they're going to fuck up their contracts.
It would be funny.
But the other things, the things that aren't contracts,
tried that, yeah.
the things
If
that
they,
don't,
no, if they
they're going
just said,
to
all right, the
pull.
shitty Call of Duty studio, you guys go to Sony. The really good Call of Duty
that would be
studio, you
great.
go to Microsoft. You guys are still getting Call of Duty, just not the good shit.
I don't play shooters like
Right,
that anymore.
right.
So
Yeah.
Me too. Like, even as much as I did get the Xbox because of the nostalgia for Gears of War, which is one of my favorite games, there's a redundancy that I just don't have in my brain anymore to sit there and play that kind
Call
of
of Duty and things like
that.
that.
Series
Yeah.
getting washed.
Yeah, Call of Duty to
Yeah.
me is not even on my checklist of games I give a shit about at all.
Yeah.
Not mine.
It's a lot of their back catalog. It's a lot of the things that are only on PC
Yeah.
that they could start putting onto
I agree.
console.
I do
And
find myself playing older games more.
As of right now, there's not a service that can match the Game Pass
Yeah,
I don't think so. Not the
at all.
moment.
But you can get Game Pass on your PC too.
exactly.
So, and they're gonna point for you guys. The owner of Steam.
Yes.
is talking about implementing Game Pass on the
Good
Steam
guy,
Deck.
Gabe. I like that guy right now. He's
So,
doing some cool
If
shit.
they integrate Game Pass on the Steam Deck, that makes your Steam Deck like a
Portable
Xbox.
Xbox. Yes.
So that's a scary thought.
And it's smart on their business model. They're like, let's
Yes.
just keep buying it out, and then we'll put it out everywhere, and then they'll recoup their money.
Well, they're putting it out everywhere they put Microsoft.
of course.
Sony is trying to counter with the Project Spartacus, which is they're going to try to combine their PS Plus and PS Now.
Yes.
Their streaming service and their Plus service. And for my notes, so I don't know when it's going live. It's supposed to be this year, but it's a 3-tiered service.
Okay.
So it's like a $10, a $15, and then like roughly high teens, 20s.
Okay.
Like Ian likes his women.
Not much older though.
Yeah.
Damn.
So the two or three free games a month, and the online play is the bottom tier service, the Essential PS Plus. The next service up, it'll be almost like an additional PS Now Game Plus library added to that,
All right.
with better streaming quality because PS Now is kind of
Right.
Yeah.
And then the third tier is they're going to open up libraries of the classics, like the
Nice.
games that
Which
are
they
stuck.
really need
Yes,
to.
like PS1, PS2, PS3. Just being like a JRPG strategy, like those games, there's dozens of the Suikoden's, the Final Fantasies. There's dozens of classic Legend of Dragoon, like
But you
legendary
can't find
games.
them
Yes, for fuck's sake, make a remake.
Yeah.
Everybody wants a remake of that game.
Legend of Dragoon, yeah.
Yes. It can't be that difficult.
No,
Please.
I just want Need for Speed Underground.
Yeah.
Bring that fucking game back
There's
to me.
hundreds of games that are
Gran
just
Turismo
locked
too.
Yes.
in the
Yeah.
past, and PlayStation is trying to address that with the Spartacus.
I
service.
think it would be smart of
Yeah.
them
and
to
that
do
is that
so.
is one thing that they do need to do, because that is a big thing that Xbox has really done. Is if you have the disc, you just put it in your Xbox and it downloads you the game, and now you have it on your console digitally. So all the games that they've managed to make backwards compatible, put in the disc, it downloads it, it automatically up-reses the game, adds auto HDR, and increases the frame rate in some cases where it's like unlocked.
Yeah.
Right.
So
crazy.
the things that they've done to bring back their old games, and this is something that it makes sense, because you look at everything that's happening with the lawsuits with Nintendo, because Nintendo won't bring their old games back.
Yeah,
people
keep-
pirate them
they
like
keep
crazy.
shutting down ROM sites and suing them. And there's that
Yeah.
meme where it's like, "Don't download our games," and it's like, "We'll sell them to us." And Nintendo's like, "No."
Yeah, and it's
Exactly.
and it's
What
a
the
similar
fuck?
it's a similar thing from PlayStation, where it's like
a Wii.
they've got this.
Buy a Wii U.
Yeah.
Why were you?
Yeah, they want to sell you Mario Brothers again for your new console. They got a deep catalog. And most consoles, the big boys at this point, they all have a ridiculous catalog. And to not make it easily accessible makes no sense. It's money.
Yeah,
It's
And
what
that
built
was
you.
one of the bigger things where I said it eventually, like, I mean, for the Starfield, for the next Elder Scrolls, if they keep that exclusive, which they said they would.
Yeah.
So I'm.
That's gonna be a huge
Starfield
hit.
is definitely exclusive.
Yeah, Starfield is. But I'm going to rant about something in a second. But anyway, so if they keep all those exclusives, I'll definitely end up getting a Series X probably. And the other thing I'd be excited about would be the accessibility to games like Fable, Morrowind, Jade Empire.
Yes.
All those old classic games that like.
On the original Xbox.
Like my 360 red rings, and I don't have my original Xbox anymore. I have all these old games. Like, so
Listen, they fixed that, sir. There are plenty of refurbished Xbox 360s out there that you can get your
I
hands on.
guarantee you, there are still Xbox 360s in the factory red ring.
And here's the
Probably
thing.
right.
Here's the thing. Speaking of accessibility, that gets overlooked dramatically. Xbox has specialty controllers for people with disabilities. PlayStation does not. So they have Xbox.
The Japanese have
say
a
that.
not.
Japanese don't care about your handicap.
If you're handicapped, the Japanese are like, God's no like.
Yeah, because that.
They treat you like
You
they do with
are
Project Sparta. That's
slow.
why they kick them off of a hill.
Project
You are
Sparta.
not good enough.
But if we look at games exclusive going forward,
Yeah, and I'll mention this also because this is actually something that PlayStation Insomniac does very well, is adding in all of the accessibility features for people who can't play the way the game was originally built. But those features only still carry to the controller. At least what Xbox has done, and they've by making all of their old controllers capable of playing on the new consoles, which PlayStation won't allow. They want you to buy new stuff.
Of course, greedy.
It takes
That's
all
their
their
new controller is so fucking cool.
accessibility controllers,
Haptic feedback.
and it allows you to bring all those accessibility controllers that can give anyone with a wide varying degree of handicaps the capability of playing games.
So basically, Xbox is going to be a bunch of kids.
No wonder you guys. No wonder you guys did that shit out.
That one out there.
No wonder you guys like Xbox so much. Now it makes sense. Now it makes fucking sense.
All right. So you wanted to passionately say something about PlayStation, and Eddie was steamrolling with fact after wonderful fact.
Yeah,
about
sure.
it.
So I'm saying if the sales stay the way they are, which at the end of 2021, as of December 31st, PlayStation had sold 17.3 million PlayStation 5s, and I
Correct.
believe the Xbox was just under 10.
It was around 12
At
I
the end of
think.
January, it was 12.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I
add
think
about-
right now they're sitting at about 12.
Oh, so they're catching up.
Well, here's
We don't have PlayStation numbers for that month. They didn't sell zero
Yes.
in the month of January.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did according to me.
now here.
Hold on, let me fact check that.
No,
Yep, zero.
now this
Says in my notes, fuck you.
now he's not wrong. PlayStation
It does say
is
fuck you.
Wait,
is
where
selling
is he not wrong? What the fuck you?
right there with the fuck. Yeah, no.
It does say fuck you. I'm sorry.
PlayStation is
Fast hands.
outselling Xbox consoles. Here's the thing that most
1
people
to 1.7 ratio.
Here's the thing that they don't point out. Xbox uses their consoles for their back-end cloud computing. So they're not getting to sell all of the consoles they build resale because some are going into the back end for their cloud computing and for their supercomputers. Plus, the reality is nobody can build any of their consoles to keep up with demand. It's
Right
not
now
like you
at
can
all,
walk
yeah.
in the store and grab an Xbox. They're fucking none anywhere.
Yeah.
Same thing with the PlayStation. Good. I tried taking a look the other day. I'm like, good luck. You still can't. You can't.
I'm in
Most
the market-
places won't
I'm
even
in the
let you
market
reserve.
now.
You
I'm
can't
in the
even
market
fucking
now. It's
reserve.
crazy.
It's
It's crazy.
it's
So
insane.
I was sitting there at work and I had a patient cancel. I'm a physical therapist. I got on GameStop and there was like PS5 restock. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh, cool. I hit it. I'm like, add to cart. And it was like, added to cart. And I was like,
Check out.
holy shit, I guess I'm buying a PS5 right now. Like fucking ran like 10:30 in the morning on like a Wednesday. Like I was like, holy hell. That's how I got mine. But they leave so much money on the table if they make those games exclusive, which
Yeah.
is smart. But it's so I'm gonna buy an Xbox for Elder Scrolls.
Sure.
Yep.
Eventually.
Because it's a fantastic game.
Yes.
Right, yeah.
But you know
but-
it's going to be good before you play it.
Yeah.
no-
So
So if you-
honestly, I would probably buy a PlayStation for the Wolverine game that I didn't know was coming out exclusive.
Yes,
to
that-
PlayStation.
yeah, that's-
I can't say that I don't.
Yeah,
It's
that's-
gonna
Like, they're not
want
going
to play that fucking game.
They're not going to follow up Skyrim with a piece of shit.
Yeah.
That's not
So-
going to happen. That's not going to
But
happen.
if they said that I've read a few different things saying that projections for the next year, they expect the sales ratio to stay the same right now. Don't know if the Bethesda buyout and all that shit's going to change that, and Activision Blizzard buyout. But if that so let's just do some numbers. So if that progresses,
Wait, hold on, let me get my calculator.
so if you sell a brand,
one,
if
carry
you sell
the one is
still says, I already punched that in. It still it said "fuck you" my calculator. So anyway,
Predictive text.
if you sell a game to everyone who owns an Xbox at the end of 2021, you make $600 million.
Okay.
If you sell everyone a PS5, you make $1,080 million.
Okay.
So if that continues,
They'll make another Spider-Man
it's
movie.
2.1 to 1. Yeah. It's two.
Essentially.
That's Tom Holland's paycheck. So what are you talking about?
It's 2.1 billion to 1.2 billion if you make those sales. So if they made a game exclusive instead of producing it for PS5, they're missing out on potentially $2 billion.
Oh, there's a lot of potential for loss there. Here's the
But are they going to sell $2 billion worth of Xbox for the Elder Scrolls?
Well, here's the
question.
thing. Every PC is now effectively an Xbox because Microsoft is on every PC that's Windows. Because every Steam Deck can be loaded with Windows. So every Steam Deck is now an Xbox.
That was my argument. I gave you that one.
Thank you for helping us.
And every Steam Deck now, and back to Nintendo, as a Steam Deck can actually emulate the Switch almost perfectly.
Oh yeah,
if you want to,
it looks better than the Switch on some.
If you're one of those guys who emulates current generation,
only emulate games you own, kids,
and only emulate games from past generations. Otherwise, you're just
you're really looking at some issues. If
cut out.
For a second there, yeah.
I was fingering the line.
Yeah. Don't finger the line.
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck's happening to your voice?
I like it.
Yeah. You have a PlayStation microphone. That's what it is.
Oh,
Ours
God.
are Microsoft, so
Upgrade from
they're
little
always
types.
working.
At least it's not plastic. My battery life's not as long, but it sounds better and looks
That's
better.
what she said.
Jesus Christ.
All right, listen. I think we've made a valid argument for both consoles, with Xbox winning clearly the leader ahead of everything.
I disagree.
Except for sales.
Here's how I'm gonna pitch it. Except for sales, money's the bottom line, man. So,
and it will be for the larger picture for Microsoft. Just the console sales alone is one part of their pie.
but that's their equation they gotta do. Is it like how many Shays are out there that are gonna buy an Xbox for Elder Scrolls versus make that game not exclusive?
And that's where they're going to drag some more people in, though, because of a game like Elder Scrolls.
And that's why they've been moving the way they even talk about Xbox away from Xbox to Microsoft Gaming.
I agree.
I'm
just really curious to see how the numbers are going to shift when Elder Scrolls does.
I mean, Microsoft is going to have is they're at the point where they're pushing Sony, where Sony's going to have to either
open up
or go hard into we are a console company. They're either going to have to choose. They're going to have to choose one. And if they make the wrong choice, it could be a problem for them.
I think what they should do is they should make the Spartacus service make it compatible with PCs.
If that would be tremendous. If they made it compatible with
they
PCs,
said that they don't want to.
But if they have, so the new PS5,
Japanese business strategy has never usually been
the new PS5 exclusive.
They're not
New PS5 exclusives make them just PS5, but the 300 plus games like a Game Pass library, the classics, open that shit up, put it on the Steam Deck, put it on a PC.
Anything from the previous generation, they could go and make it compatible to be played on PC.
I would say, given the Game Pass and given all those things, if I was talking to him about this, if you're a casual gamer and you want to shoot some Call of Duty, you want to play an okay game here and there, the Xbox is probably the system you want.
Sure.
Yeah.
But if you want the most immersive, best exclusive library,
Nintendo U.
story-driven, immersive games, I think the PS5 is your system, man. With the Final Fantasy 16's exclusive.
I think if they do the headset right,
The Last of Us,
if they do
Uncharted,
the VR headset right, I could
the movie.
I could agree with that more.
Uncharted so bad.
But I know the controller's a little more immersive.
Unfortunately.
But I can't see that controller being so much more immersive than the Xbox's controller, because you're still sitting in front of a TV.
Yeah.
It doesn't. I mean, it does shift, I'm sure, some things with the adaptive triggers and that all that fancy stuff. But even that, at this point, Microsoft is like, oh, do you people like that? we'll add it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, fine. Whoever
Yeah.
comes out with a holster for your cock, that's the system I'm switching to. I think
It's disgusting, Ian.
I'm just
When
saying.
does it come out?
I'll take 3.
But I do
That
think
will be on PC.
That PC, all right.
there's only a few games that would
switching.
sway me to buy an Xbox, and if they look at the sales and they go, "Hey, man, X plus Y equals this. Let's make this game for PlayStation." If they do that, then I'm never gonna get an Xbox probably.
Right.
But
Because of things like that.
I agree. For the casual gamer, I think the Xbox might be the way to go this generation because of the Game Pass. Unless you have a PC that can run the games you want to play.
And for nostalgia, black and white video games like Final Fantasy 37 and a half, the PlayStation.
No. That's why, for even games like Elden Ring, 80% of Elden Ring's sales in the UK
God of War,
came from
Grand
PlayStation.
Order Edition.
So,
I mean,
so people who have functioning brains and higher level cognition, and they like immersive
Don't play
stories.
Injustice.
Yeah.
Sushi Yamagami, 57.
Bunch of people with handicapped controllers
racist.
playing Injustice 3. That was racist.
It's racist to use a handicap
I would like to point out that Nelson, an Xbox owner, said cream of some young guy, and now is attacking Japanese pronunciation.
He said
Same episode.
He said sushi origami.
The Star Wars episode, Ed, you can't even defend him. He said
Yamagami.
Sangoons. He said Sangoons.
yes, he did.
That's not racist. All right, Shea, you're an educated individual. Nothing to do with PlayStation or Xbox. A goon is not a racist term. So here are.
Man, it still don't feel right.
It doesn't have to feel right. It's not racist.
Nelson, I don't think it's racist, but if we were driving around it and I said, "Hey, look at that group of goons over there," what do you picture? What do you
I picture guys.
What do you picture, viewer? What do you
This is
picture?
exactly what I picture. I picture a guy in the desert going.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
No further questions, Your Honor.
I don't want my daughter talking to him. He's just saying goon. Oh my god!
My daughter brings so many sand goons.
It's over. I ain't mixing my jeans
I
with
hate
sand
you,
goon.
motherfuckers. I hate you guys. So speaking of Tiny Tina, the video game coming out.
I think that's gonna be
I
multi-platform.
wish
really-
that was a PlayStation
really-
exclusive.
They couldn't get it. I'm really looking forward to that game. Actually,
She can get it.
I can't.
She's really.
Tiny Tina. Hold on a second, sir. Is she
Wait a
of
minute.
age? Is she of age?
How old is
Tiny
Tiny
Tina
Tina?
of age?
Hold on. How old is Tiny Tina?
There's no way she's of age. It's a fucking joke.
No.
I'll forgive
Oh, no.
Sand
You
Goon
want to
if you
have
bring.
sex with
No,
this
no, no.
animated video game?
Neither pedophilia or Sangoons is okay.
Now me and Nelson are on a
How
team
old
together.
is
Oh no, sir! You're on a team all by yourself.
Tiny Tina? No, me and Ed seem to be clean right now. We're clean.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, is that right?
That is-
Eddie, cue the clip.
She's 20. She's 20 years old in Borderlands 3.
She's how old?
20.
20. All right.
Everybody can suck a dick, including Tina. Including Tina.
Bro, stop fingering the mic.
I'll finger everything in this room.
She is 12 years old. What?
Borderlands 2.
In Borderlands 2, you didn't specify who I'm fucking.
He's trying to find the first time she pops
I
up.
believe the
Since
tattoo
you're-
on your arm, sir, is when you played the second game.
Yeah, but I didn't. It's not. This doesn't say I would have fucked Tina.
And you are into PlayStation who likes nostalgic games.
That is true.
It all comes full circle.
How old is she in Borderlands 1?
I don't know. Eddie was really into Claptrap back then.
So does that mean there's gonna be? Does that mean there's gonna be?
Those robot hands.
Oh yeah. Does that mean there's gonna be a Special Olympics game on the Xbox?
Oh my God.
I quit.
Will it have boxing?
This is
Will
the
it have
last
boxing?
podcast.
Oh, and the boxing from Wii Sports Boxing, the tough guy, it was the me named Matt. That's who you couldn't be.
Yeah. I couldn't remember
I was at home. I'm like, it's fucking Matt.
Holy shit. I have nothing to say after that.
That was good. That was good. That was good. See what happened? See where this went?
Yes. Okay. All right, guys. To wrap it up. Ian, what's our subject this time?
Well, you know, since the battle between Xbox and PlayStation, even though we both like have the things we love and hate about the systems, I think it's this intelligent discussion. I think it's important to close it with the Xbox people will say at least a character or something that they like about the PlayStation, and the two PlayStation guys will say either like a character or something that they like about the Xbox. No, there is. Come on.
Go back and
there's lots of
delete
things
my
I like
notes.
about
A
the
video game character, or are we talking about like online personalities? Like what?
It can be a video game character, or it can be some kind of feature with the PlayStation, or it can be a game in the PlayStation that you hold in your heart somewhere.
I legitimately have something from the PlayStation universe that I love.
There you go.
And that was the guy in the commercials selling the PlayStations for a little while there. He like the overtly Caucasian male selling the PlayStations. Do you guys not remember this guy?
We have to. I think I know what you're talking about.
It's the commercial. I can't remember his name, but I loved him. He was fucking hilarious.
He's a
And
goon, right?
Oh man. Oh man.
I'm gonna cry now. You know, I switched my character to Matt from Nintendo.
Oh God.
All right, you know what? While you guys discuss yours, I'm gonna find his name. I will come back to this
There
gentleman
you go.
here.
That's fair. I guess we'll go to a PlayStation.
It's you. Go ahead.
All right. Me personally, I'm gonna go with Morrowind on the Xbox. It's something that
You look at your mic.
I'm gonna go with Morrowind on the Xbox because that game.
Kevin Butler. Huh?
Oh, that guy.
Yeah, he was great. He was great. Okay,
That was
all
the PlayStation 2 era, right?
Yeah.
That was fantastic.
I loved his commercials. I was still playing Xbox, but I was like, this guy's
He might be
he's
the reason
fucking funny.
why they sold like 100 million more systems.
I don't doubt it. He was fucking
like
hilarious.
155 million to 50 million.
we might bring him back.
They should. They might do better.
They might do better. But I'm gonna go with Morrowind on the Xbox because it was the first time I was ever introduced to an Elder Scrolls game.
A proper
And,
PC game on a console.
Right, but if it never would have been ported to the Xbox, if Xbox wouldn't have been the one to introduce it, I never would have been brought into it. I probably would have missed the whole Oblivion.
And it's fantastic that now those games are exclusive to Microsoft.
They're not to Xbox.
For now.
Xbox has no exclusives.
But it was a
Raise your hands if you want some exclusives.
it's something that to this day I will constantly be thankful
being a goon.
to Xbox. Oh my god.
What? I'm done.
Poor Ian.
If you were
Trying to get his point across.
if you were a 20-year-old female,
Ian would be all over you.
I just can't wait to get the Xbox controller. All the kids can put their tentacles in it.
holy shit.
I want to play Halo 5.
Morrowind.
Never
Yes,
getting put
yes.
out.
More. I didn't say it.
So your guy was the Morrowind guy?
It's the whole thing. The whole thing of Morrowind. It was very special to me, and it's something I owe Xbox.
Okay.
If Xbox wouldn't have done that, I wouldn't have been exposed to Oblivion and therefore Skyrim.
Yeah, they prove
Fair enough.
real PC games can be done on console.
Yes, and it was fantastic. It was still and did that Jade Empire. I mean, some fantastic games were on the first Xbox system.
Fantastico.
Yes.
All right, Shay, what about you?
Well, we go back to Xbox.
Yeah, go back to. What?
Oh, all right, we'll go back. I didn't want to end on PlayStation.
We're already talking about Xbox.
Oh, yeah. Oh, hey, you know,
I was saying
continue.
something nice
Continue, Eddie.
about Xbox.
I'll say the PlayStation VR because somebody has to do something about Facebook. And right now, Microsoft isn't really touching any outside peripherals other than their accessibility stuff. So it's nice that somebody and a big boy in the game, PlayStation, is doing something. And I am waiting for the PSVR 2 because that is one of the things besides Wolverine that will get me to get
That game's
the
gonna be
PlayStation. Oh, it's.
Especially on VR, if you're like busting shit. In your
I was thoroughly upset when I'm like,
Somebody's getting
oh,
punched in the
fucking
face.
PlayStation only.
It'll be
As soon
great.
as I
though.
saw,
It'll be great.
as soon as I
They
saw it
did-
was Insomniac, I'm like, that is not coming to Microsoft.
It's just hard for the Japanese to fight Mark Zuckerberg and his army of lizard people. It's difficult. Like, he's subterranean. It's hard to find out. He moves.
It is unsettling that he looks more human in VR in meta than he does in real life.
Oh yeah. If you ever see him in real life, it's like you can see him shift every now and then. Like when the skin that he has pulled over his lizard form like starts to move. Like he's
He did a podcast with Lex Friedman recently. It's good. It's a good listen because it's actually a nice long form conversation with him about Facebook and all the things that they're looking to do. But somebody does need to step up and try to do VR other than them, because they're really egregious in the level of intrusion to your personal data that they go into. Nothing to them is outside of the bounds.
You need to upload your social security card in order to play it. Like,
yeah,
I'm down. This is something PlayStation would do.
So I thought we were going with things we didn't like, but I want to.
Eddie, cue the music. Thank you for joining.
But it ends up being the same thing. So we talked earlier before everything started about the 360 versus the 3.
Sure.
And I said how the 360 killed the online gaming. They were way better at it. And I think some of the best things about the Xbox were my memories of that time, which I thought we were picking like a persona of a person.
I thought so too.
My favorite and least favorite person was the fucking little kid that his mic was on too loud, and you heard his family arguing. Like, what
Mom,
pizza
get me
topping
a
do you
chocolate
want?
milk.
Yeah, and you're like,
I
dude,
need another juice box.
like shut your mic off. Like, turn your fucking mic off, kid.
you hear his dad just beating the shit out of the whole family. Like,
Some really off-color racist shit in the background. You're like, dude, turn your mic off, bro. Like,
Nelson watching Star Wars. Look at all them goons. The whole bar full of them. They're playing musicians.
when you're in a lobby with someone like that and just like static in your headphones, fucking screaming in the background, you're like, man, I hate this guy. And then afterwards, you're like, I got to kill that guy so many times.
See, along the lines of that, I would say the guy that I hated the most was the guy who took the game way too seriously.
Yeah.
What the fuck are you doing? You're the sniper. Why are you running around? Why are you camping?
You just don't like to win.
Oh man, yeah. Fucking campers.
They forget that it's a game and that it's being played for enjoyment.
If they could put victory into a needle, I'm gonna win.
Hey, wait, you know what? Who put victory in a needle? Xbox. Eddie, cue the music.
I want to leave on one last note that's good for PlayStation.
And what did you get after the injection? The red ring of death.
If we wanted to personify the one thing that was good about
Did you say
PlayStation,
Persona 5?
the one guy that
PlayStation
actually had a headset, because PlayStation does terrible online.
Thank you for joining us at the Sofa Kingdom podcast, sponsored by Microsoft.
And we'd like to thank you, Bill Gates, for designing the coronavirus.
He said Persona 5, which is a PS exclusive.
Jesus. Yeah, follow us, like us, love us.
Yeah, we're here. We appreciate you guys. From our family to yours, thank you.
Yes. It's all in good fun. We love everybody and hate everybody equally.
Everybody who watches this has to think I'm just a huge nerd. I've only done video game episodes. I love craft beer. I compete in jiu-jitsu. What the fuck?
Tell the people.
This kid's a loser. Give him that look.
Listen, some of the vicious UFC fighters play with Legos on the side.
They do.
Listen,
Demetrius Johnson, huge gamer.
Yeah, and this was deliberate. Ian's like, yo, only video game episodes for my brother.
That's it. Like, we need to make him look like a huge
He's like, I had to get revenge.
He can't talk about anything else. He clams up. He's weird.
weird as shit.
Breathes through his nose. Laugh.
Oh, that was good.
I mean, I'm gonna buy an Xbox.
Yeah.
I'm gonna buy a Switch.